Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered with Amber. In today's episode, we are going to do a little story time about something that you guys are going to think is just clickbait and probably fake, but it's not. It's a real story. It's really unfiltered and crazy. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about how I couldn't quit my job at a Fortune 100 company, so I ended up getting fired. Okay, we're going to go through some ridiculous corporate rules and crazy managers that I had to deal with, why getting fired actually changed my life for the better, and also, yes, we are going to go over the stereotype of why Indians smell, and if that's why I got fired. But you have to keep listening. All right, so stay with me here because it's not one of those fake stories. It's something that is going to be fun. It's going to make you laugh. You also may be able to relate in some way, shape, or form. But let's get into it. We're going to start off with painting the picture. So I wrote a few things down here. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you probably see I have my laptop. Or if you're listening on the podcast, then it doesn't really make a difference. But anyways, we're going to start off by painting the picture of where I was at in my life when all of this began. So this was back in college days for Amber. I did go to college. I went to a university for 4 years. I got my bachelor's. I actually graduated with honors marketing. Yes, honors. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but booyah, I did honors. Haha, take that, parents. Honors marketing and sales leadership. I had like 2 majors. Actually, one was a concentrate, whatever the heck that means. I don't think it was 2 majors. But anyways, marketing and sales. So that's that. And anyways, so I was going to college, and when I was in college, I already had a bit of a career built up. If you guys know a little bit about my past, I started doing fitness coaching at a really young age, around like 17 years old, and I scaled that business very quickly, so I really had no reason to go to college. But the main reason I was going to college was because my parents kind of forced me, and they also like baited me into it. They told me if I go to college, I can go live at my own apartment with my sister and we could live together, and it just seemed like such a dream, and it was so exciting moving out and them paying for my rent, paying for my college, and letting me live alone. So all in all, I ended up going to college. They convinced me. So went to college, did the thing, and like I said, I already had a little bit of a career built up at that point, so there really was no point in me doing it, but I just kind of did it to satisfy my parents, especially coming from a background of, where I'm from, and like my culture and everything, being Indian, Middle Eastern. It's like you go to school, you become a doctor, you marry a doctor, all these things. They already knew I wasn't going to become a doctor or marry a doctor, but they still wanted me to have an education, so I'm super grateful for that. And anyways, back to the story. That's kind of a little bit of that. And while I was in college, I started actually applying to companies, like really big companies that everyone knows, places like Google, places like Facebook, and just like really big places that you know. And I started to get these offers while I was in college as a junior. And I ended up taking this offer at an internship my junior year of college. And I graduated the internship being number 1 in the program at this Fortune 100 company, or Fortune 300, I don't know what it was, but it was up there, right? It was a big company. And after that, I was guaranteed a job making well over 6 figures at my first job once I graduated from college. And I actually was given multiple offers from other places. But I'm not gonna say the name of the company that offered me this specific one and the internship that I did and everything for what is it called? Legal purposes? Just kidding. I don't really know. I don't think I should say it. But anyways, you could probably find it online. Don't go looking, guys. Don't. Even though I just said it. But anyways, so the reason that I took this job at this Fortune 100, I'll just call it the Fortune 100 company, it was to get the trainings. It was to get the experiences. I never really cared to be a corporate girl. I know some people are super excited to work a 9 to 5 and dress up and go into the office and, have a manager and report back your KPIs and report back every week and have weekly meetings with people who are on top of you telling you exactly how to breathe and talk and everything. Not my thing. All right. But to each their own. And nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm actually not trying to say like there's anything wrong with that. But anyways, it just wasn't my thing. But I did do the whole corporate thing for a little bit because I wanted it to help my business and I wanted to get experience. And when I say a little bit, I'll tell you more about how long a little bit was because it wasn't even really a little bit. But anyways, I knew that this would be the only time that I would work for someone in my life. So I was like, might as well just get it out of my way, get it out of my system now. I'm still young. I have the energy to handle a manager or a boss on top of me. I'm like, whatever. I just sacrificed, okay? So I sacrificed that. And when I was in this job, it was brutal. Like, this was a marketing and sales position that I had. So it was like promised two different things, but I didn't really end up doing the two different things. It was kind of just, the duration that I lasted, I was in training. So I guess maybe I would have gotten to the other duration, but I didn't really last that long. So I don't want to like poop on the company for not giving me everything that was promised because I guess I didn't last that long. But anyways, we had meetings, right? And my meetings were with 60-year-old white men, as you can imagine. And it's so funny because we had, like, it was a remote position, I guess, if you want to call it. Like, I had to go visit clients, and I did have to go in person and drive and all these things a lot. And I'll tell you what I drove in a minute. But, yeah, I had to go visit clients and do all these, like, in-person things, but I didn't have, like, an office to go into. My manager was in a different state. My whole team was in, like, not different states. We had, some of them were in different states, but some of them weren't. We had, like, a territory area that we were in, right? Like, I'm in the Midwest, so it was kind of like the Midwest. But anyways, we had this one meeting, and it was during Halloween. And they're like, okay, we have a meeting. We're going to do an online Halloween party and whatever, all these things. One, I don't celebrate Halloween. Two, I'm not dressing up to like a virtual Halloween party. What the heck? That is so weird. So I show up to this meeting, and all these old men are dressed up like weirdos, and I'm like the only girl. And they're asking me why I didn't dress up and like whatever. I'm like, well, I don't celebrate. It's my first couple weeks here. I feel like I still need to be a little bit proper. And like, I'm not gonna put like kitty ears on camera on a virtual thing for you. That's kind of weird, right? Like, I felt like that was weird. So that was the first red flag. Well, that was not the first. That was probably like the 100th, but that was weird, like very odd. But anyways, this wasn't like a typical 9 to 5, but I was working very, very much. I was working some days 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and I was still told that I wasn't working enough when I was working this position. And I was just in training, mind you. It was only training during this time. So it's like I didn't really have a set schedule or clients that I had to go and visit or things like that because I was still building like my book of business and building like those relationships and learning and doing the trainings and whatnot. So honestly, like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. was crazy while also running a business because after that I started already getting into business coaching and doing some of the things that I'm doing. So like you can imagine my life was super, super chaotic. And anyways, that was kind of some of that. And my manager, mind you, was also new at the time. He started the same exact week that I started. And I think he just didn't like me because I was young, number one. And he wasn't. Number two, because I had hair. He didn't. Number three, because, just kidding. But I think it's because I was just like a young, youthful girl and I added like flavor to the team and everything and everyone else didn't add flavor. So I think it was a little bit intimidating, maybe, even though I was intimidated. So kind of. So, like, I don't think they like the change. They're like, what is this young girl doing here? Why is she, also my numbers were really good. Even as just being in training, I was hitting higher numbers than some of the people who have been there for 30 plus years. So I think people were a little bit intimidated by me a little bit. So anyways, plus I couldn't pronounce his name. And he just made up rules that made no sense. And also, like, the company was supposed to pay for certain things like our meals and our rent and just kidding. They were supposed to pay for our meals and like Wi-Fi and certain things. And then as I got hired on, my manager was like, actually, we don't do those until a certain time period. And I had a mentor who helped me, which I actually really liked. She helped me. She was also not young, but like younger than me. I mean, younger than the other people, but older than me. And she told me, like, what are you talking about? Like, you can definitely have all these things paid for. So he definitely lied to you. So do not listen to him. And yeah, anyways, that was chaotic. So you can tell, like, I was just not, having it. The corporate life wasn't for me. I was very entrepreneurial spirited, and my personality just didn't hit with these corporate folks, okay? And I didn't even last in this position for 60 days, and training was 6 months, so I didn't even last through the training. But here is where it gets crazy, okay? I'm going to tell you guys, like, how all of the me leaving the company happened, okay? I already knew at that point I was just so over it. I did not like this position at all. I hated my life. I was dreading every single moment. I didn't like driving. It was just like wild. First of all, this company gave me a car to drive. And I was so excited. When they told me I'm getting a free car, I was like, heck yeah, I'm getting a free car that I get to drive, and they pay for my gas, and I'm going to be whipping it in this brand new nice luxury car from this Fortune 100 company. Thought it'd be like a Mercedes or maybe like a Range Rover. I don't know. I thought it'd be something cool, okay? I got a freaking minivan. When that thing pulled up to my house, my jaw dropped. I'm like, what? And it wasn't just a minivan. It was a minivan with those sliding doors, like the ones you see in the movie, like crazy movies where it's like they take the minivan and they're on a mission and all this stuff, or they're going on a road trip, like one of those minivans. Yeah. So imagine me, a little 5-foot girl, 100 pounds, rocking it in a minivan, pulling up to these meetings to meet with clients. Like, who's going to take me serious? Nobody. I didn't even take myself serious. Like, that was wild. That was another red flag, but whatever. So anyways, I already knew that I was kind of done with this, and the whole, like, I'm trying to do this adult thing. This is my first job, like real big girl job, besides my career was already a job, but like, big girl job to everyone else. And I was like, okay, I need to quit properly. But my parents, I told them, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not it for me. I tried. And they're like, you haven't given it enough time. You need to stay at 1 year. Then after that, you can quit. I was like, all right, 1 year is a long time, but you know what? It hit me. I'm not a quitter. So you're right. I'm not going to quit. And that's when I told myself, I'm going to make it a mission to get fired instead of quit. So I don't be called a quitter, because I'm not a quitter. Okay. Well, I didn't really make it a mission to get fired, but I ended up getting fired anyways. So I didn't know that I was like in a hostage situation. My parents were like, you have to stay. And I'm like, well, I don't really like want to stay. And you guys are, yes, my parents, and I know this is my first job, but I'm still an adult and I can make my own decisions. But I also did have that fear of quitting. I was like, this is a really good position. It's a really good job. It's a lot of stability, or whatever you want to call it, and benefits and all these things, right? And like, I got it right out of college, like literally right out of college. And I didn't know if an opportunity like this would come to me again. And so I cried a lot, like during all of this. I like cried every single day when I would get home. I cried to my sister. I remember I was planning my first conference this year, actually. This was back in 2022. Yeah, 2022 is when I graduated college. So in 2022, I had my first sisterhood conference. If you don't know what sisterhood conference is, it is like a women's conference I put together every single year. It's grown to become the #1 women's conference in Illinois. But this was my first year doing it. So I had, you can imagine, no idea what the heck I was doing. It was me speaking on stage, flying out different speakers, booking a venue, selling out tickets. Like, this was all very new to me, and I had no idea how to do that. So I was trying to plan this whole conference, running my business coaching business, having calls with clients all the time, and then also working this freaking corporate job, okay? So I prayed a lot during that time about this and asked God, like, please help me, give me the strength for this, figure it out, because like, I don't know what I'm doing and I just can't deal with it. I just can't. So anyways, like I said, if I can't quit, then I'm going to get fired, right? So that's kind of what ended up happening. I wasn't like doing anything wrong. I actually was a really good employee, I think, I would say. I was top of the team, like I mentioned. I wasn't pretending to be someone I'm not. I was bringing in new ideas, and they hired me knowing that I had a business. They knew that I was running my own business. They told me it wouldn't be an issue as long as it's not like conflict of interest or something or whatever. It wasn't like, me taking their clients, which it was completely not anywhere relevant to that. So that wasn't an issue. And that was the main reason I was hired, was because of my experience with my business and building businesses and with sales and my own business. Because prior to that, I really didn't have a lot of experience. It was mainly internships and random things, right? So anyways, the same reason they hired me was like kind of the reason they fired me. And so I ended up getting an email one day. I was actually like at a client visit. I was walking back to my car, the minivan. Okay. I was walking back and I got an email, and my boss at that time, or manager, whatever, he was actually on vacation, but I got an email from him. And vacation, this man just got hired and he went on vacation. Like, what? So anyways, I was hardworking like a, I don't know. I was just hardworking, and he was out there enjoying the beach, tanning his bald head. So anyways, I ended up getting this email from him, and he sent me a long message basically stating how multiple people have sent me your social media post of you in the minivan, the company vehicle, and this is a violation of whatever. So we're going to have to do some further investigation and like all these things. I was like, what? I have nobody on my social media from this company. I almost said the company's name. I don't have anybody. And if I did, it was people from my internship program who lived in different states and weren't on my team, and they wouldn't even know who my manager was. And they would not rat me out like that. Like, no way, you know? And what I posted, it was like a picture of the map of me driving somewhere, and it didn't have like the location I was driving to. It just had like the map, and I was parked, and it said like heading to client meetings. Something like that, to give you a little bit of background. It wasn't a picture of myself driving my car, how you see my posts nowadays on social media. I drive and I post Instagram videos. Probably shouldn't, but I do. That is how I built my business. But whatever, using what I got fired to build my business. But no, I didn't even have a video of it wasn't my face. You couldn't even tell it was the company car, to be honest. You could barely tell. And so I was like, what? And he said multiple people, not just one person, multiple. So I looked at like who viewed my story. Nobody from this company. Nobody, not even a single person. So I was like, you're a liar and you're stalking me on social media, you creep. So like, what the heck? You're trying to find a way to get me fired. So first they ended up taking away my minivan, and you bet I was not sad about that. I was actually kind of excited. I'm like, you know what? Well, before they even took away my minivan, they told me, actually, they were like, you cannot drive your minivan anymore. So until this investigation is further taken into consideration. Okay. I was like, what? That's so weird. But honestly, that minivan really came clutch, because one of my best friends and I, we took that to a road trip to Nashville. We went to Nashville during this time. So can't lie, the minivan did come in handy at the time that I needed it. But then afterwards, when they told me that I can't drive it anymore, I wasn't mad about it. I was kind of happy. And I was like, what am I going to do with these client meetings? They told me I couldn't drive my own car because of legal reasons. So I literally didn't work for 2 weeks. And then I ended up having a meeting. They just put it into my calendar, like the company email calendar. And it was like some random meeting. I hopped on the meeting, and I'm like, okay, like they told me it's with HR and that I have to like talk to them and explain the situation. I did hop on, and it was a lawyer or attorney or whatever from this company. And they like told me, they literally were like, we are this company's, I don't even know what they said. They said it like, we are on behalf of this company and this is who we are representing. We cannot represent you, but if you want to bring your own lawyer or attorney in, you could bring them in. The first thing they said when I hopped on the call, I was like, lawyer, attorney, what the heck did I do? Like, what? I didn't know I was like speed chasing or like doing a drive-by, or is it drive-in, drive-by? One of those, whatever. I'm like, this is wild. So then I like sat there, and then the HR manager started going through like my website and my social media. And I was like, what is this meeting? Why are you guys so obsessed with me? That's what it felt like. I was like, why are you guys just looking at my like social media? Yeah, I have pictures of myself on social media and I post. And they were like, this is like conflicting with the times of working for this company. And I was like, no, it's not. And first of all, I don't work a 9 to 5. So don't even try to tell me that I need to like be working certain hours, because in the contract it states that I can work whatever hours I want as long as I'm getting X amount of work done. And I did. And most days I was working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. like I said. So there is no way. And anyways, that was kind of that. I had like multiple random weird calls, and it was just like really weird. And then I had one final call, and my manager was going to be on that call, and my dad was in town. This is scary, okay? When my dad's in town, I'm like, shoot, he is going to kill me for getting fired. But I already warned him. I was like, listen, this is what happened. This situation, they're crazy. They're trying to like sue me for something. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're really coming at me. And like, then he like stepped into dad mode, and he was like, F this company and blah, blah, blah. Like, you could do better, whatever, all these things. And like, he told me like what to say and how to act and like all these things and all these legal terms. Okay. So I'm like sitting here with my laptop, taking this meeting with my manager, who I hated, plus like the legal team and HR and all these people, right? And my dad's like behind my computer, like right here standing, and like in front of me where I could see him, but the people on the screen can't. And he's like telling me what to say, and I'm so confused, and I'm like, okay, like I don't really know what to do, like, yeah. And then basically they ended up saying like, your role is being terminated. And I was like, terminated? Whoa, that's a little crazy. And I was like, all right. But then I remember I ended up saying something because my dad, right when they said your role is being terminated, he had his middle fingers up, and he was like flipping or flicking, whatever it's called, flipping my computer off. This is the first time I've ever seen my dad have his middle fingers up, but they were up, like flipping off these people from the other side of the camera. And then obviously I'm like heated. So I was like, all right, I will be having my attorneys reaching out to you because this termination is not fair, or something like that. I said it way more better, but yeah, so that was kind of that. And honestly, they thought they were like punishing me or doing something to really ruin my life. My manager definitely thought he ruined my life, but honestly, after that call, I was like, thank the Lord this happened. I am so happy with this. And also my dad wasn't mad, or my mom. They like laughed at me. They made it like a funny story. They're like, we thought you'd last at least 1 year, but you barely lasted 60 days. I didn't even last the training. So anyways, that was kind of that, and it was insane. But, you know, getting fired really did free me from like the fear that I had to hold on to this, you know, like status or whatever people want after leaving college, of like having a set job and a set income and all these, you know, great things, as they say. But I didn't think so. And also like the fear of not fear, but like the need to be approved or whatever by my parents mainly. I felt like I was doing it for them, and like also to just fit in with society for a little bit, because I'm like, this is what you do after you leave college. But in reality, that's just not me. So why am I trying to fit in with all these corporate people and all these like whatever Halloween party freaks, whatever. Anyways, that's fine. So it was like an illusion of security, but honestly, like I feel so much better now doing what I'm doing. Not only like being able to make more money than I was making, but also like the freedom I have. I don't have to be working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I don't have to be driving a freaking minivan. Okay, that's the best thing for sure. So I learned a lot about, you know, kind of just trusting myself and knowing that the rules that are set or whatever, these quote unquote rules, it wasn't really built for me. Okay, and it's not built for a lot of you out there too, and that's okay. So I don't really need to keep working on, you know, like a resume. I was like, no more working on this resume crap and like fixing this up to land the perfect job. I'll just continue posting social media content and refining my content so that way I can make a better influence on social media, you know? So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Okay, that sounds like stupid, but no, seriously, it actually is great and very freeing. So yeah, all in all, maybe I just wasn't fit for the job. Or maybe they were racist and they were like, she's Indian and smells. I'm kidding. But I wanted to talk about that because why do people say that Indians smell? Okay? And like, do you think Indians smell? Because like, think about that. Like when you think of like smelly people, what do you think of? Like Indians? Like I kind of do too, a little bit. But I don't know, because it's like coming from a person who's Indian, not all Indians smell bad, you know? Like, for example, my kind of Indian is actually the cleanest kind of Indian, and they smell very good. So what I mean by that, it's maybe not Indian, it's like Muslim people. I'm a Muslim, a proud Muslim, proud American Muslim. Anyways, and like Muslim people are known to smell really good. So if you've ever walked past a Muslim person, you probably get like a little whiff, like Can you hear that? ASMR. And like you think like, whoa, this person smells good. And I don't know if it's like the incense or if it's just like their body or whatever. I don't know. But I think it's because we are the most clean people out there. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But like the stereotype of being Indian and smelling really does exist. And it kind of bothers me because, okay, BO is one thing. Anyone can have BO. You don't have to be just Indian to have BO. But like the smell of spices and curry, that just means that we're well fed. We're well fed humans, and I think like other people of other maybe races are jealous of that. So when they smell it on us, they're like, you smell. But in reality, they wish that their house smelled like that because they wish they were fed like I was fed. You know, maybe it's that. I don't really know. But in general, I think that Muslims, out of all people, which a lot of Indians are Muslims, like myself, it's because I want to educate you guys a little bit on why I'm saying that we smell really good. It's because of multiple things. The cleanliness practices in Islam are very important. So before every prayer, and we pray 5 times a day, so we literally basically like shower 5 times a day. So imagine a person who showers 5 times a day, they probably are the best smelling people versus those who shower once a day, right? Am I right or am I wrong? So like there's a certain way that you have to like cleanse yourself before you do your prayer, as well as like it is a part of our faith. Like a part of our faith is being clean, taking care of your hygiene, making sure that you're like well kept. When you walk into the mosque, there's specific things that you cannot touch without being clean. Even like the Quran itself, you should not be touching it and opening it and reading it if you haven't cleaned yourself in a proper way as a Muslim. I understand that there are Americans who not Americans, but like non-Muslims. Sorry, that was like not, what is it called? Smart. Not just Americans. I'm American. But like non-Muslims out there who want to maybe learn about Islam. It doesn't mean that you like can't if you haven't cleaned yourself the right way. It's just like as a Muslim, you will learn those things. It's just integrated into our faith. That's integrated into our lives. And it's just like, I don't know. I think we're cleaner than most people. And like, I don't know. If spices scare you, just say it. Like, that's it. Like, if that, I don't know what else to say. Because I don't think smelling like curry or smelling like whatever is like a bad thing. I think it's just a you problem. And honestly, like, it's not even curry. It's just spices in general or whatever. So whatever. I think the stereotype comes from like ignorance and a little bit of a lack of exposure maybe. So that is that. But whatever. I don't know if I got fired for that or not. That was just kind of random. But anyways, I kind of want to go into a quick little Ask Amber Anything to wrap up this episode. So I did ask a few of you guys I asked on Instagram, and a few of you guys replied to my story with some questions. So let's see what we have here. Okay. These are fun. I'm going to try to be quick with these. Last time I feel like I took long. Okay, Pilates princess or muscle mommy? That's a good one. I think, right? I don't know. Oh my gosh, that's so hard. I was a muscle mommy for so long. Like I was like, I want to be jacked. I want to be toned. I want to look like I can beat someone up and I lift heavy. I don't know if I ever really looked like that, but I looked toned. But Pilates is great too. Like the Pilates vibe and aesthetic, but also Pilates people, like Pilates princess or whatever you want to call it, they're actually like really fit too. Pilates is hard. It is not something that is an easy activity to do. Pilates was actually built for men, I think by a man too, if I remember correctly. And so I would just say a mix of both. I think both are good. I do both. I strength train and I do Pilates, so I love it. And funny story, yesterday, I launched a event for a Pilates event that I am hosting, and I'm going to be the instructor. I'm not certified. Hopefully people don't mind, and hopefully nobody gets hurt. Maybe I need to make them sign waivers. I don't know. But anyways, I'm doing an event like in partnership with Tesla, and we're doing like Pilates and stuff. And you know the whole Pilates and Porsche thing? I'm doing Pilates and Tesla with Amber. Yeah, it's a little twist. It's fun. But anyways, I put out a post yesterday, literally right here in the studio. I was just like chilling, and I made a video, like one take, maybe two. I don't know, maybe three. It was quick though. I made a quick video, and I posted it on TikTok. It went viral. not viral, but it really got a lot of views. Sold out the event in less than 24 hours, less than like 20 hours. And I had to end up doing one more event. So now I'm doing 2 Pilates events with like 50 people at each event, and I have to host this and I have to train them. It's one thing to be able to do the workout, but it's another to be able to talk through the workout. So I will be practicing. Today I had a conversation with my Pilates teacher and I told her, so I'm going to practice with her. But anyways, so Pilates Princess, Muscle Mommy, love it both. Let's see, what else do we have here? What things or ways do you do to celebrate work wins? This is great. I think work wins or like wins in general in life should be celebrated. I am a very I'm the type of person who's very like, we need to celebrate everything and like do something for anything. Even like me selling out my event, I was like, I gotta celebrate. I didn't, but like, that's how I feel. And also when my friends or someone I love accomplishes something, I'm like, we need to celebrate in some way, shape, or form. So whether it's like going to a nice dinner or buying yourself something, or even sometimes like small wins that I do is like, okay, today I'm gonna splurge and get like, not splurge, but like I'm gonna make sure I get Starbucks this morning. I do that every morning. That's not celebrating a win, but the win is waking up, and the win is conquering the day, and the win is usually after my workout I get my Starbucks. So I guess maybe that, I don't know, but I think just like going out to a nice dinner maybe, or a vacation would be great. I don't know if I do that though, but maybe I've done that in the past. Okay, that's that. Let's answer maybe like 1 or 2 more. Wait, this one's so funny. Okay, this is my cousin's wife that sent me this. It says, favorite game to play as a child, minus lions and tigers and bears. It's because my cousins and I and my sister, we used to play this game called Lions and Tigers and Bears, and we would like go in each corner of the room, and it would be like lions, and then I'd be like, roar, and then it'd be like tigers, and then my sister would be like, roar, and then it'd be like bears, and then my cousin would be like, roar, and then we would all run at each other in the middle and attack each other and like basically wrestle and like try to kill one another. I don't know. We were weird. Like, that is just weird, but it was called Lions and Tigers and Bears. I don't know if that's a real game or if we made that up. I think we made it up, but it was a fun game. All right, but favorite game to play as a child besides that, I don't think anything can beat that. Like, that was fun. I think also just, like, playing outside. I feel like nowadays kids don't play outside like we used to. Like, being able to walk to my neighbor's house and ring the doorbell and knock and be like, is so-and-so here, and can I hang out? Can I play for an hour or whatever? Like, that was so fun, and we would just find random things to do, like playing with grass and, like, going into little swamps and like swimming and random things in like a puddle, like random stuff we would do. So honestly, it was like nature, being outside. That was fun. Really loved all of that. Okay, one more question. Or should we leave it off there? Okay, maybe we'll do one more. Why pick designer over something that's not, but still great quality? Wait, why pick designer over something that's not but still great quality? Okay. I think it depends. I feel like I don't really like pick designer that often, like especially clothing. Like I don't have like a Louis Vuitton jacket and a Prada pant suit. I don't know, whatever. Like I don't wear clothes like that, but I guess I have like accessories that are designer or luxury or whatever. So I think that like clothing, I don't know if I would. Maybe I don't know if I have anything. I'm trying to think. I really don't know. But like, yeah, I honestly don't even know. Like shoes, I guess I have too, but like that's like accessorizing things, not like actual clothing. But this says why picking, not, it doesn't say anything about clothing. But anyways, I think that like the accessories you can use versatilely. Is that the word? You can use them like multiple different ways. So I like that, like sunglasses, watches, bracelets, jewelry, shoes, you can wear with so many things. So I feel like having a luxury designer thing is kind of like a statement piece to like anything, even like a casual outfit like this. Like I like made it nice because like I'm wearing Adidas sweats right now, like track pants and a bodysuit, like just whatever, and Adidas shoes. And I'm wearing like a nice Rolex and nice bracelets and nice like all of that. So I feel like that is like cute and it adds to style. where like if you bought a Louis Vuitton shirt, I'm not going to wear that every single day because like then people will think that's all I own. And also like I wouldn't wear the same outfit every single day anyway. So it's like you can't really wear that often, where accessories you can. So I think it depends on what you're buying, and also like, do you like the brand? Do you actually like how it looks? Or are you just buying it for the name? Majority of the things that I buy, I actually, if they're designer, I have to actually like them like a lot, not just because it's that brand. Of course, the brand helps, and that's why what I do as a career is helping people build brands, because at the end of the day, it's like people invest into the brand because of the name at times, not necessarily because of what it is. But for me, like I mentioned, I still want to like what I'm wearing and putting on my body, but some designer things are weird and I'll still wear them. So I don't know. Anyways, I don't know if that answered that question. Okay, there's a few more, but let's just leave it at that. I feel like the episode's getting kind of long. I want to keep these quicker. Is that a word? I don't know. More fun, entertaining, whatever. So zooming out of all of this, corporate America, I don't think it's really built for someone like me. Women who have questions about things, women with culture, personality, with like a brain. Okay, I'm not trying to crap on people who work in corporate. I feel like people are going to think I hate corporate people. I don't. We need those people. We really do. We truly need them to like do a lot of other things. So just reframing my mindset on I didn't get fired. And I mean, I did get fired, but like it wasn't a failure. I didn't quit and I wasn't a failure. It was just, time for redirection, and that's what happens. It was kind of a version of my life that I think I needed for me to feel really certain about what I'm doing. And it happens, whether it's your career, whether it's relationships, whether it's a place you're living, whatever it is. Sometimes you have to go through those like slippery situations. It's a good experience. It's a funny story, maybe funny. I don't know. Later it'll be funny. I promise you. And it's just something to look back at and see how much you've grown and learned. So I hope this episode spoke directly to, the people who maybe hate their job. If you feel trapped, if you're scared to disappoint people or whatever it is, you don't have to hate your job, but like maybe you don't like it or you're thinking of doing something different, whatever. This is just like a sign for you guys that you don't need permission to shift gears or do something different. And yeah, that's kind of that. So God will always give you a path, okay? Like I didn't have to quit. I didn't become a quitter, but I prayed about it and God gave me the path and I got fired and I'm grateful for it. So anyways, if this episode made you laugh or feel seen or maybe feel sad for me, don't, I'm kidding. Okay, but if it made you laugh or feel seen, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to send it to someone who maybe hates their job but won't admit it. And yeah, that's that. Okay, bye.